64 wins, pish posh. The Pacers dismantle the Cavs in 5 games. They win game 5 in Cleveland. Tyrese Haliburton was sensational. Every Pacer showed their stuff, and they're moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals again. Boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about on today's Locked On Pacers podcast.
You are Locked On Pacers, your daily Indiana Pacers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, y'all? Happy Wednesday, and welcome into another edition of the Locked On Pacers podcast, where we, of course, talk about the Indiana Pacers. As always, my name's Tony East. I cover the team for Forbes, and today it's over. The Pacers have beaten the Cavaliers in 5 games. Another preposterously good performance in Cleveland. They go 3-0 in Rocket Arena, and they're moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals. A wonderful win for the Pacers to show who they are. Everybody did their thing. Tyrese Haliburton was phenomenal with 31 points, and the Pacers are headed again, can't stress this enough, to the Eastern Conference Finals. Derek Kramer joins today. We break down everything from Game 5, how the Pacers won, how they eliminated a 19-point deficit, what comes next in their playoff journey. And I get into a lot of like, hey, I'm stupid, I picked the Cavs in 6. And that is all what tomorrow's podcast will be about. You won't want to miss it. Let's just get right to it. They go on the road. They beat a great team. They do it again, the second straight year, advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals with a road win for the Indiana Pacers, who go to Cleveland, who lost 5 road games to non-Pacers teams this season and beat them 3 times in one series. It was the most Pacers game ever. Everybody who's good at something did that thing in this game. Some standout performers, obviously. Unbelievable game from the Pacers. Unbelievable resolve in this playoffs. They're 8-2. They just beat a 64-win team. I'm just flying through things to say. It's only been 30 seconds. Hello, Derek Kramer. Thank you for joining me. You have become the closer this year. How are you feeling about the Eastern Conference Finals bound Indiana Pacers?
What a ride, man. This is it's been so fun these last 2 years just to see this continue. Is awesome. As Pascal said, like this, now they have their chance to show that they're better than last year. Like this is exactly where they were 1 year ago, and they got a shot. Like, and that's all they can ask for. It's incredible that they're back here again. Just what a game! Like it's so impressive to beat this Cavs team in 5 games. Like just really impressive performance from them.
I would like to and will talk about the game, but like I know a lot of people who are sports fans are like, if they're not winning a championship, failure, don't care. Like the Hornets haven't won a playoff series singular in over 20 years. Like the Kings have made the conference finals twice in their entire existence. Damian Lillard,
ask the Kings fans how much they would love a run like this.
Damian Lillard, a franchise legend for the Blazers, grinded like crazy with those guys. Got there one time.
Donovan Mitchell, amazing in the playoffs, has never been to the conference.
Never been. Right. It is for some players, this is like, wow, awesome. Like I made it that far. You know, this is a huge, huge run for the Pacers to do this. And this time they're doing it as a young ascending team. And this year feels different than last year one because of the potential quality of opponents they'll be facing going forward. I don't want to get too far ahead right now. I'm going to be Rick Carlisle and make you stay on task and focus on today and the very next day for the Pacers. But to narrow view it, last year they beat good teams. They beat the Bucks and the Knicks. They won like about the same number of games as the Pacers, a few more. I picked the Cavs in the series. I'll do a huge I'm a Dumb Idiot podcast tomorrow. I promise. You can all laugh at me today and tomorrow. But they won 64 games. I get that the Heat suck. They embarrassed them, pants them, like best offense in a series in NBA history. Right? They are legitimately very good. I get it. They had a guy banged up and missed some games. But like the Pacers handled them easily. Like they were way better than them in this series. They were way better than them tonight for much of the game. The first part of the game when they were down 19. I keep rambling, Derek. I'm so sorry. They were down 19 early, and I was like this reminds me of last year. Both game 5s they played on the road last year, they got smoked, and then they had to come back home and figure it out. And then all of a sudden in the second quarter, it's like, oh yeah, everything the Pacers are good at just happened. They respond to these huge adversity moments. Every time they're down big, they can get back into a game. They won a half by 41 3 days ago. Tyrese Haliburton was even above what you usually expect from Tyrese Haliburton heaters with the threes. And then in the second half, everybody else kept it going, but just like these are the kind of moments that you can feel from the team, how they feel about it. not by what they say, but by how they say it and how they act. Like, they knew this was a big deal, and they're like, last year they've said it, felt like awesome, we're here, cool. This year they have legitimate expectations for themselves, and they are destroying it, meeting it by just keep continuing to grind through great teams. This is their best series win the last 2 years, and they were awesome tonight.
Yeah, like there's so many things to hit on there. Just it's really impressive, like what this team's able to do. Like listening to Kenny Atkinson after the game, and like he just sounded so just resigned to the fact that the Pacers had so much more ability to sustain their level of intense play over the course of 48 minutes, over the course of multiple games. And like just plain said, like the Cavs couldn't match that level of pace and intensity and high level of physical play over this long stretch. Like regardless of, yes, the Cavs were banged up, like Donovan Mitchell wasn't like his will to try to win that game was incredible. Like just he was so good throughout this entire
even
series.
Garland like fighting through everything to play at all.
Everything, yeah. Like they still fought, and like Ty Jerome comes in like after not playing that whole game and hits 2 huge threes that finally get the Cavs like going. Like they weren't going away. Like the Pacers earned this, and like the Cavs were clear about that too. Like they're not making any excuses. It's just like the Pacers, like it felt like the kind of the same old story, like you said, with this Game 5 start. And then it turned into, oh, it's that same old story. The Pacers taking that first punch, being resilient, and just never stopping. Like I thought I was going to be back in the field house for Game 6. Like I pretended it was a reverse jinx tweet that I did when I was like, all right, just good grief. And then, yeah, Tyrese took over. Like they hadn't no 30-point scorer at all until tonight in the playoffs. Like I was wondering, like, has a team ever made the conference finals without like having somebody score 30? Well, we don't know, because
I guess we'll never know, as they say. I guess we'll never know. Yeah, I was trying to decide where to go next from just like the moment part that we just did of, do I want to go down 2 paths? There's 2 things that are hugely significant, require long conversations from this game. One you just touched, which is Tyrese Haliburton's 31 points. Huge. I will get to that. But to me, the reason this game is poetic, if I was actually good at writing and not just okay to bad at it, this is what I would try to write about this game. The way I think about Pacers players and what they're good at and what their strengths are and why this is a good team, those are the things that they did in this game to win, if that makes sense. They didn't, I guess you could say Haliburton having 31 is above expectation for him scoring wise, but like the stuff that everybody thinks about or knows these guys for being good at is what they did to win this game. Aaron Nesmith, fighting effort, 13 rebounds, 2 steals. Oh, he's not having a good night shooting the ball? Who cares? He'll do all the other little stuff to win you a game. Pascal Siakam, punk and small guys, 6 made 2-point shots, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Not efficient night, still did the dirty work to get it done. Myles Turner, probably not a great night for him on the offensive end. He probably wasn't thrilled about it. 7 rebounds, 4 blocks, stepped up in a huge way on the defensive end, one of the team's defensive anchors for years. Andrew Nembhard, 7 for 11, 6 assists. Sub pattern for the night was come in when Donovan Mitchell comes in, go out when Donovan Mitchell comes out. You got to guard that guy. You got to be the secondary creator. Good luck, buddy. Oh, he was great. 18 points and doing all that. Tyrese Haliburton, which we will get to later, exceptional scoring. One of the best like individual performances of his playoff career, but also did all the other stuff. 8 assists in this game, 31 points, ridiculously good. Bennedict Mathurin, tough plays, tough layups. Quieter night for his standards, and yet still what you expect of him. Obi Toppin flying in at the basket. Thomas Bryant, what just happened? We'll talk about him later. Holy cow, that was above expectation as well, but that's what he's good at. Crazy effort plays, making shots in funky moments, right? TJ McConnell, really tough fourth quarter. I'm sorry to TJ, you don't meet the criteria for this segment. He did have 2 assists. Ben Shepherd made his only 3, defended, played 12 minutes. This is what all these guys are known for or good at. They come in, they fill a role. They're not trying to do too much. They're not trying to overexert themselves. They know the Cavs are really good. They have to do these things to beat the Cavs. That's hard. Everybody has this instinct, especially when you're down 19, of like, okay, what we're doing is not working. I'm going to do this thing and see if that works. They did not do any of that. They played what the Pacers brand of basketball. Tyrese Haliburton went crazy. We'll get to that. And they won the game. It was so perfectly Pacers to me, and that's what made this such a cool win, is that the Cavs are really good, and the Pacers, who have all these guys with their specific brands of success, used those things at various times to get them a huge win for their franchise.
Yeah, like Tristan Thompson, like like the thing that he said to the Cavs, according to the broadcast, was like everybody star in their role, like as much as possible, something like that. And like that's what the Pacers did. And like to do that on the road, to get all those performances from guys like Thomas Bryant, wow. Like they live on their depth, and I couldn't believe that once again Carlisle was going minutes without Ty or Pascal in that first quarter, a all 5-man bench lineup in the third. That one was real rough in the third quarter, because it felt like this is your chance to kind of really put your foot on their neck and finish this. And then like Ty Jerome got those way too easy of shots, but like that's what they live on. Like that keeps them all fresh for like needing to play 10.5 minutes down the stretch for Tyrese. And like most of the starters that played that in almost that entire fourth quarter, like Myles only had like 5 points, I think, in the first 3 quarters, but his blocks on defense were huge. Like massive. Huge. Like it was a goaltend when he got that, Donovan Mitchell, when he was clearly trying to just lay it up and like not hurt himself. Like it was solely like, let me get an easy one. But he hustled and he got there and he blocked it. Like he earned that play. And then for Nembhard to get back and block that shot too is just incredible. They did everything they had to do to win this game, and to do it on the road just makes it that much more impressive.
It truly was. And that's what made the second half fascinating to me, is I wondered if they would need their guy who has over 30 points or their other star who just had an awesome game 4, who like every time the Cavs put a smile on him, they're like, okay, finally my series prediction came true. It took 3.5 games. Like, great, Pascal Siakam too, just give it to that guy. No, they didn't have to do any of that. They just kept playing their game. And like, even Nembhard was having an awesome like initiate offense night. It helps that he made a bunch of threes that looks huge for his stat line, but he played really well, I thought, in those ways. It was just the perfect kind of encapsulation of why they're here and why everybody like doesn't think of the Pacers as this level of a team, because they have a lot of guys who do specific things very well, but not anybody who's like, how are we going to defend that guy kind of guys on their team. Although I will say this, for the first time in the playoffs, the team trapped Tyrese Haliburton, had that go not very well for the Cavs. Like, it's just, no one thinks of the Pacers in that way, but they have so many guys who are good enough to beat you when they see a cracked defense, when they see space, when they see a chance to go chase down a block. 2 chase down blocks in one half against the team known for a chase down block. That kind of effort is how you win a game like this that got dicey. Did the Cavs lead the second half? Was it tied? It was very close. Like, they needed all of that. And then you go to the thing. It's been a fun stat to say over and over again. It's over because of an awesome moment. They had no 30-point scores as an individual the entire playoffs until today. It had to be Tyrese Haliburton. Everybody, a quick little break to talk about WayFair. The days are getting longer, the weather's warming up, and people are spending more time outside, which means it's the perfect time to refresh your outdoor space. Whether you're working with a big backyard or a small balcony, WayFair has everything you need to make it feel more like you. WayFair's massive selection of outdoor essentials makes it easy to transform any space into your ideal summer setup. From comfy conversation sets to sleek dining tables and outdoor decor, they've got it all at prices that fit your budget. Brand new patio dining set and some streetlights from WayFair can help extend your patio space. They have a mix of styles they offer that make it easy to find pieces that match your vibe. The delivery is hassle-free and free, even for the big stuff. Whether you're entertaining guests or just relaxing solo like me, use WayFair to help you unwind. Shop a huge selection of outdoor furniture online this summer. Get outside with WayFair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's WAYFAIR.com. WayFair, every style, every home. What a second quarter. That is a kind of quarter in a game like this. You're down 19. We saw it last year. You saw these games. You were at both of them. Or no, you weren't at either of them. Excuse me. Game 5 in the Garden, Game 5 in Milwaukee last year. They got whomped. Milwaukee didn't have Dame or Giannis, and they beat the Pacers badly. The Knicks Game 5 was like their biggest loss of the playoffs the last 2 years, right? That kind of game was what I thought might be coming when they were down 19. That's why that second quarter was so important. They needed to respond right then, or it would have been like, well, let's go to Indy. How about the star guy? How many times have we seen Tyrese Haliburton make 1 3? A lot. He makes 40% of his threes. How many times have we seen him make 2 in a row? A pretty good amount. He makes 40% of his threes. Then we all know what's coming. Tyrese Haliburton's going to take a heat check. He made it. He took a heat check and he made it.
Take another one.
Every time he saw Jared Allen, he would shoot. And then sometimes Jared Allen would get up, so he'd get off the ball, and then they would try to scram, and boom, he would shoot before the scram got there. So he made the third one. He made the heat check, which means he's going to take another heat check. Guess what happened on that heat check, listener who watched the game? He made that one too. 4 in a row. I know Tyrese Haliburton pretty well. I've watched him play a lot of games. Guess what he's going to do when he makes 4 threes in a row? He's going to take a 5th one, and he made it. The Pacers sucked shooting from 3 to start this game. They were awful. They were at 10% from 3, 18 minutes into this game. Haliburton makes 5 in a row himself. They make like 6 out of 7 as a team. Nembhard made one. Nesmith made one. It got contagious. All of a sudden, they're right back in it. They don't have to think about folding. They know they can come back. They know they can beat this team in this building. They've done it twice. They shoot out of a rocket to start the third quarter. Haliburton took a heat check 3 in the third quarter. That one did not go in, but that's not as funny for my storytelling. And they just destroyed them. Not destroyed, but they just ran through and played their game the rest of the way. They wouldn't have even had the chance to be the balanced Pacers who are good enough to beat the 64-win Cavs if it wasn't for Haliburton going crazy in that stretch. And then he did what everybody else begs him to do. Goes to the rim, makes floaters, makes shots at the basket. He did pass out of 1 or 2, but mostly took the 2s that were presented to him in this game. 5 2-point shots and 6 free throws. Brilliant scoring game from Tyrese Haliburton. Very rarely is that how he is brilliant. He was fantastic in this game and has earned a second trip to the conference finals because he led the Pacers today. He was terrific.
And it had been too long since we'd seen Tyrese go on one of those streaks, and just that second quarter was just incredible. The first one, like the tough step back over DeAndre Hunter to hit it, and then the next 4, none of them even touched rim.
No,
like they were all just net splash, nothing. Donovan Mitchell was real frustrated after on the logo 3 that he wasn't up and ready to switch up to make sure like Tyrese doesn't have that switch pocket 3 to take, and just like he said, it changed the game. And like he's not wrong. Like that stretch, like you said, without it, like the Pacers don't win this game. And when the Cavs started to figure things out and get going again, like it was his drives, like his dunk. I can't remember if it was the end of the third or the start of the fourth, where he just drove straight into the lane, did the low gather at about the free throw line. And like, you don't see him dunk very often in the half court. Like we saw it in that Bucks game in game 5, but like, that's not something he goes for very often. And just like, he had the right mentality of like, okay, this is my moment. This is what I need to do tonight more than anything. Like he didn't even have that many assists. In the first half, like not many at all. And then they started trapping, and then he's finding Pascal for easy buckets going to the rim. Like I thought the Cavs defense to start was interesting because they weren't pressing Tyrese and face guarding nearly as much. Like it was clear their strategy was going to be, let's just try to force the ball out of his hands more often.
Yep.
And then get him passing. But like once he got those 2 fouls and then comes back in the second quarter, like you would think he's out of rhythm, and then he just gets it going. And then they have breakdowns and he just nailed shot after shot after shot. Just so impressive shot making, to do this in Cleveland again. I don't think anybody's going to be saying he's overrated in Cleveland anytime soon.
I'm glad the narrative on that has finally been okay, that was probably wrong. There'll be a funny story to be written. I would assume the sample, if it grew, would be a similar voting pool. But if he for some reason goes crazy the rest of the playoffs, 13 players were the guys who motivated him to do this. That's it. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I find something interesting about this series that he kind of embodied in this game, but just the Cavs, when they would switch, they weren't they switched too much in game 1. They kind of figured out the balance the rest of the way. The Pacers had 3 slow starts in 5 games. It almost felt like to me they were trying to figure out what exactly is the switching going to look like today? What's that going to open up? In game 4, what that opened up was smalls on bigs, Turner punishing down low. Pascal Siakam's best game of the series. Obi Toppin, by far his best game of the series in game 4. He was amazing that night. But a lot of times, and this is what I didn't expect about this series, it was big on small. Poor Jared Allen, he was really good in game 3. He got hunted in this game, and that's kind of what opened up things for Tyrese Haliburton. I'm not saying the Pacers were feeling out what was going on and they couldn't figure it out. They missed a lot of good looks in the first quarter, certainly. But when they identified exactly how the Cavs are trying to defend them, and once they figured out the 3-2 and they know they can score against a pressed up Tyrese Haliburton, they were just great. We know how to generate and make these shots. There's a reason they had the 4th best effective field goal percentage this regular season, because they're really good at making shots and they're really good at generating the shots they like. They just had to figure out what it was. It's so rare, you know this because you've watched a team, not rare, but it's very unusual that the best shot is just Haliburton identifying a switch and scoring every single time. Usually it's more balanced than that, which is what the second half was. But for a long stretch of this game, that's what it was until the Cavs adjusted. And then in panic time for the Cavs, they're oh crap, we're down 8. There's only 3 minutes to go maybe in our season. They're we got to trap them. Enter Andrew Nembhard, who's just going to make 2 huge threes. Myles Turner's wide open in the corner. Good night. Your season's over. That's just what the Pacers are. I I thought this was such a cool win. Just the way they did it like that. I know I already did that whole thing, but the way that it was all balanced out was awesome. What else stood out to you? I've been rambling a lot on this show and not really letting you talk about anything besides the stuff I want to talk about.
No, you're good. Like you said, like it's the balance, and that's what this team is. And like you saw it throughout the game, and you saw it at the close, just like you saw it in game 2 when they made that crazy finish. Like every single guy is making plays. Like Nembhard to get that huge and one bucket.
Massive.
Mitchell had made that second 3 to get it down to 3, just absolutely huge. And then Myles, who hasn't really like had a ton of opportunities offensively, like to hit that dagger 3 to just ice it. Like I like as a Pacers fan, like when you've seen your team like win these games, like you don't feel safe at any moment. So like Myles hitting that shot felt like a huge dagger. Like, okay, everybody can breathe. Don't have to worry about another craziness. And like, yeah, like I just keep looking back at game 2 and like,
that was the one.
That's the one. Like, that's why this series went the way it did. Like, who knows what the situation in this series is if they aren't able to win that game. Like maybe it's 3-2. Maybe the Pacers don't show up like they did in game 3 and they still finish this in 5. Who knows? But it feels like it's probably like a 2-2 situation going into this game. And like, I can't get over how amazing that game 2 was. And I feel like maybe that's why the Cavs in this game, one of many reasons why the Cavs tried, okay, we tried the face guarding, like we're using too much energy there. We can't sustain that high level of intensity for 4 quarters. Like Kenny Atkinson was saying at the end, like we can't keep up with that full press, 48 minutes, all this stuff that the Pacers are doing. Like, let's try to conserve some energy and try a different strategy. And just the Pacers had an answer for every single thing they did. Like the 3-2 zone really just feels like a gimmick at this point because the Pacers weren't going to be prepared for it because the Cavs hadn't run that really all year.
Like that's what they are, right? Like that is the Pacers. They will be maybe one game where they're like, oh crap, what's this? We don't know what to do. They look at it and film. They're like, oh, this, that. And then they do it and then they win. Like it sounds so simple. Like every team should do it, right? Like I don't want to get into Rick stuff today. I did that after the first round. Like, can we shut up? Can everybody who's not a Rick Carlisle guy just shut up? Every coach is like, yeah, that guy's adjustments are crazy. He's so hard. Like he's been amazing this playoffs and he was again in the series. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. And that's where I was going to go with it. Like, I don't know how you're not a fan of Rick Carlisle and his coaching. Like, sure, you can be frustrated that he doesn't give as much minutes as you might like to a young player like Bennedict, Mathurin, and Jarius Walker, but like the adjustments that he and his staff are able to make game to game in a playoff series or in these mini series, like multiple players always bring those up. Like when you see this team play a team twice in a row in the regular season, it's the same thing. Whatever the problems were in the first game, they're not going to be evident in the second one. Like they're going to figure it out. They're going to get right on the things that they need to fix. And it's just so impressive how adaptable this team is to whatever somebody's throwing at them. Both of these last 2 years in the postseason, just so impressive.
Okay, let's talk about crunch time. You mentioned a lot of the plays that mattered there. This was a fun ending. This became Donovan Mitchell versus the Pacers in some ways. Like the moment I thought, oh man, was when it was 88-89 after Darius Garland hit. That was right after the Haliburton dunk. Myles Turner, huge crowd silencing mid-range shot at that moment of the game. The other shot that I thought was absolutely huge after Mitchell hit a 3 to get it to 2 was Aaron Nesmith just flying in. Where did this come from? Aaron Nesmith from the left corner over there drives in. There's a ton of Cavs around him. Evan freaking Mobley, huge, giant, 7'4" wingspans right under the basket. Aaron Nesmith, acrobatic, reverse, throws it over his head, banks it in to put him up 4. What? He was like having an off night. I can't believe he had the gall to go to the rim at Mobley to shoot that shot and got it over him and made it. That was ridiculous. They had some stupid plays. They fouled Donovan Mitchell on a 3 and got completely bailed out that he missed all of them. But like Nembhard hit a big 3 in the middle of that Haliburton set up. Like they just kept making play after play when it looked like, oh boy, their run was great. They got it going, but this 3-guard lineup thing was working. Ty Jerome, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell out there. Like I don't think they played together all series until that moment. But once the Pacers got some stability and they figured out, okay, whoever Garland's on, you're the guy, make it happen. He's hobbled. They figured out they got good shots. They won the game. That was crunch time, not without the dramatic needing of the 40-foot game-winning buzzer beater that they've gotten so much in the last 2 months. They've played 10,000, I think, clutch games since mid-March, right? Something like that. I think you could probably count better than me. But they're so used to these situations now. They're like, oh crap, we're only up 1. Oh, good, we figured it out. Like it, even with Mitchell going crazy, they still were great and had crazy plays from all these guys. It was just awesome. Okay, we have to talk about one more thing. One more break here, guys. Let's talk about CarGurus. Shopping for a car should be exciting, not exhausting, but between the confusing prices and hidden fees, it can feel overwhelming. That's why I love using CarGurus. They help you cut through the noise and show you the best deals with full confidence. With over 4 million listings, CarGurus has more new and used cars than any other major online marketplace in the U.S. They verify dealers, provide real price analysis, and give you the tools and data you need to make the right choice without second-guessing yourself. Need a deal you can trust? CarGurus makes it easy to compare vehicles side by side with unbiased deal ratings. They have price drop alerts so you know when the car is available for your budget, in-depth vehicle details to give you peace of mind. It's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows CarGurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. Buy or sell your next car today with CarGurus at CarGurus.com. Go to CarGurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's CarGurus.com, CarGurus.com. Thomas Bryant. Oh, man. Where did that come from?
The segment we've all been waiting for.
Man, I had it in my notes twice. First sub of the second half. Thomas Bryant for Myles Turner. What? Why? Oh, that's why. He's just going to be the best player for the rest of this quarter. Sure. Layups, battling on the glass, huge three in the paint, making plays, not a disaster on defense like he's been at times this series. Huh? And you mentioned it, like people have been head scratching about like the full bench groups with no Siakam, Haliburton. In the first quarter specifically, they were getting smoked, but like I got it because Haliburton had foul trouble, right? They took him out for, I can't remember, Mathurin. I think Mathurin was the first sub in the game.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, I get this a little bit. Like this is Siakam's on rotation. This lineup kind of stinks, but like they have to do it. If Haliburton's in foul trouble, you just lose. In the second half, I was like, oh, okay. But it didn't matter. Thomas Bryant, I think he had 9 points in just that quarter. Kept them afloat for a huge stretch. I talked a lot about maybe he shouldn't play like at all or much less in this series. When it came time to it, Rick had the right choice, and he made it work by making the shots. Myles Turner had an game. I think he would even admit that. Thomas Bryant picked up the slack and gave him huge center minutes. Huge. He and Haliburton were the two guys a lot of guys played very well in this game, were the farthest above expectation at one thing. Bryant's third quarter was – they would have been losing at the end of that quarter if it weren't for him.
No, he was the best guy on the bench. Like, really, the bench didn't play that well. Like, TJ had his worst game probably of the playoffs.
He was okay, and then the start of the fourth was just
he was so bad.
Man.
You don't see him get pulled 90 seconds.
Weirdest series for him. Like he either was so awesome or terrible. Like no in between the entire series. It was so peculiar.
I agree. And Bennedict Mathurin, I didn't think like he had a couple nice buckets, but he did not like respond to the crowd booing him very well. It was very much like
his first three was so short that I thought, oh boy, oh gosh.
Yeah. Like he did like, I'll give him credit for that. The chase down block that he had on Mitchell was huge, but offensively, I thought it was a real struggle for him. Most of the night he did have a couple of those buckets, but like Thomas Bryant, like he was the reason he was like keeping those lineups afloat in that third quarter. Like when he thought he got fouled on the one inside, and then he ended up getting a steal and then getting the dunk, absolutely huge. The three hit came at a like just critical time, right after the Cavs had finally hit a shot, and just immediately the Pacers backup center, who you would live with shooting a three every time down the floor, like just nails one.
Perfect.
Like just. Yeah, and he dunked on all of us that thought, I don't know if they should play Thomas Bryant in these playoffs at all.
All of their end of bench guys, it's like, should they play Shepard, Walker, Bryant? None? How does this work? Like, none of them had inspiring series until the last possible chance to have an inspiring series. Thomas Bryant came through. Ben Shepard making threes the last two games. Picked up his slack a little bit.
His defense was much better in these last few games than it was at the beginning of the series. Like I didn't think.
Yeah, he was rough. I advocated for him not playing earlier in the series because his defense wasn't enough to stay on the floor.
No, he was the only guy who like wasn't having any success guarding Ty Jerome, who struggled all series. Like it felt like most of Jerome's baskets were coming against Shep, and Like I think I remember him even getting a stop or two on Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Like much improved minutes for Shep there. Got to give him credit. Yeah, it's just
we keep having so much things to stand going. Oh yeah, just yeah. Okay, we have to look forward a little bit. It's my job. The conference finals. First thing to say. Jason Tatum is over. The Achilles tear has been announced. The Cavs are gone. They won 64 games. They are guaranteed to have likely, I would say, significantly easier opponent than last year. I am not going to say that they should be the favorites, although I probably would pick them over the Celtics and the Knicks right now with how the Pacers are playing, almost certainly. But this is one of the best chances to go to the finals they might have like ever. And I'm not saying that either of them will be easy, even minus Tatum. The Celtics have Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown. The Knicks have been awesome this entire playoffs in crunch time. The only team rivaling the Pacers in crunch success, right? I think if the crunch time happens in Pacers-Knicks, it would just be the same score for the rest of the game. No one would ever score again. So they will not be easy series, whatever it is, whoever it is. The Knicks are up 3-1. They're more likely, but Boston has 2 home games. You just never know. They have like a real opportunity. Like Carlisle noted, that the league is wide open right now. That last time I checked, Denver was beating OKC. Like all the 60-win teams could be gone in 5 days. Like it's just that they have really seized an opportunity here. They still have a lot of work to do. They can't get ahead of themselves. I think they do a very good job of like showing their emotions on a given night, but also being like, we know that, especially this year, now that they have expectations, instead of just being like this fun, cool young team. But this is legitimately like maybe not, but maybe in some cases, yes, a like once in a career chance for some of these guys to do something.
Yeah, and I think Pascal said it best. Like when we talked about like this,
he cracked me up. I'm so sorry, I have to cut you off. He basically was saying that we always ask him this, like, hey, this team has never experienced this. What do you say? Because you have, right? He's won a championship. He's done all these things. And today he basically was like, I feel bad because we win a game like tonight, and I have to be the buzzkill who's like, let's look forward to the next challenge. And like, that's what the vet has to do. But it made me laugh to hear him have that kind of humility. Be like, I kind of feel bad being a buzzkill on a night like tonight.
Yeah, but that's exactly what they need right now. Like
yes.
They can't get complacent. Like, okay, we got right back here. Like Pascal said it best. Like, this is now your chance to show that you're better than you are last year, that you've actually made a step. You've already proved it's not a fluke. Now it's like, can you make a next step? Can you get to the finals? Can you win it all? Like they're halfway there, 8 wins down, 8 to go. And like you said, like they can't take these opportunities for granted. And I think they have the right mindset about that, because I think Myles Turner mentioned it recently where he said like he was talking with Tyson Chandler.
Yep,
who, like,
you were there for that. Yep. 17
years or whatever. He had only had 2 real chances at winning a championship. So like Myles is probably thinking, well, this is my second time in the Eastern Conference Finals. Is this like my second chance? Like you just never know if you're ever going to get back. Like Pascal's talked about many times, like he thought he was going to be there over and over again after they won the title in Toronto. And then like they had one good year after that, after Kawhi left, and then it was rough. Like you just never know how fast things can change in this league, and they can't waste this opportunity. No matter which team they're playing, like Knicks or Celtics, like this is your shot. Like it's not going to be easy. Nothing in this league is easy, as we've talked about. But like this is it. And if it's Knicks, like
awesome.
That's the classic opponent for the Pacers to face in the conference finals. Like just incredible stuff. I'm so looking forward to either of these, just this series coming up, and just to see how they respond getting there again after getting swept last year. It's the best time of the year for the NBA. It's just so fun.
It's currently 92-92 in Nuggets Thunder, which is relevant because I can't. They've made it this far to the point that I'm looking up. Do they have the home court tiebreaker over the Denver Nuggets? They do not. They would not have home court in the finals if they played the Nuggets. Only if they played the Wolves Warriors winner. And I am looking that up because they just beat a 64-win team. They're headed to the conference finals. Ridiculous game, ridiculous Haliburton performance, ridiculous display of what makes the Pacers very good, and as wide open as the NBA will ever be for them. And I'm not saying that because I think that. Although I do, Rick Carlisle said it. Rick Carlisle, who has won a championship and has seen leagues be wide open and not wide open because he had to deal with the Warriors in their dynasty with the Mavs. There's a chance for something special. Derek, this was great. We will get to hang out 2 more times at the Gabriel Fieldhouse, at least together this season. I'm sure you'll have many stories about this game. Where can people find you and the things you'll be saying about Pacers Cavs Game 5, Pacers Cavs, the Eastern Conference Finals, whatever you're going to say?
Yes, you can find my work at iPacers.com. You can find T-shirts there, like this iClub shirt that I'm wearing right now. Many playoff related options from this current run.
T-shirts very often proofread by me.
Yes.
Almost always, every time, always.
I go to Tony often. Yes, pretty much every time. Like just to get feedback. Like, is this good? Does this? Yes. Is there anything I should fix here? All of those kind of things. It led to your tweet, the H4L1 Hallie, when we were talking about my last.
Hallie is back.
How did you not think of that last series?
We have been. I have it on good authority. He did not used to like being called Hallie. He now.
He's embraced it.
Of Hallie. Hallie is in for Tyrese Haliburton officially. So H4L1 as the series score stands.
Well, hallelujah.
Is good.
Everybody loves saying Hallie.
It just rolls off the tongue. Haliburton's too long. Every athlete needs a nickname. I guess that's going to be his. I have no idea the schedule of this podcast now because I don't know who they're playing. I don't know when they're starting. It could depend on how the other series goes. Tomorrow, you get to hear the fun one, the Big Dumb Idiot podcast, why Tony East picked Cavs in 6 and the Pacers 1 and 5. Way to go, dummy. That'll be very fun. I have lots of notes on that.
What an idiot.
What I deserved. Right? Like, what else am I supposed to say? They totally destroyed them 4 times. Like, they didn't destroy them, but they played better than them 4 times. And the rest of this week, we'll look at the Celtics if we have to. We'll look at the Knicks if we have to. We'll talk more about the opportunity ahead for the Pacers. Derek, thank you very much. Everybody, about to record the second podcast that'll hit your feeds on Wednesday, the crossover with Danny Cunningham for the final time in Rocket Arena. Thank you all so much for listening. See you very soon.